To you.
Yep.
All right.
Wonderful.
That's right. Did Scott actually say that somewhere? I'm going to just trust it because it came from Alex. Scott says this is the most official SpaceX stream on YouTube. Thanks, Scott.
Yeah, I saw that comment that I put in the back channel.
We take that.
Oh, geez. But no, we're for real. Like, next time we say we're for real, we're going to have to show the cameras and we'll, like, look at the camera and be like, we're for real. Deep fake this. Now they're going to show the cameras when we're not looking, but whatever.
Yeah, they will catch us off guard. I thought that transition would be.
Look at that.
Absolutely stunning. Yeah, I mean, this is, I almost don't want to say it because then the photographers of our team get mad at me because I'm jinxing it. But this looks like perfect conditions for a launch.
Adrian, the last time I was on the roof, we couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
I was on the roof of the hotel, the Margaritaville Resort up in South Padre Island. Fantastic place to watch the launch from, unless it's foggy. And that day it was foggy and we didn't see anything. But look at this today.
I'm not sure if our photographers are listening, but I wonder if because there are some on the roof right now, right?
There's actually quite a few folks up there.
So I wonder if we could get like a picture from them of like how is it looking. That would be interesting to see.
Now this isn't I don't know that this is the photographer's camera. This might be just the 24/7 camera up there that gets to rust in the salt air, not the nice equipment. That is, like, some of the cameras we have out there 24/7, 365. They're live all the time. Starbase Live is our 24/7 stream that's been going for multiple.
Wow.
which is an extra layer of protection for the ship that will protect from any of the missing, that will help protect if there's any missing or damaged tiles. Now, not only did we replace the entire heat shield with our newest generation of stronger tiles for today's flight, we'll also be flying a handful of aluminum tiles that are there to help the team understand the thermodynamic environment during re-entry. If you were with us for Flight 4, you'll know how hard those heat shield tiles work during the ship's re-entry.
As you can see there, they worked incredibly hard. This big heat shield rework that we're talking about promises to increase the likelihood of Starship being better protected during controlled re-entry as it heads towards its flip maneuver and landing burn for a soft splashdown on target in the Indian Ocean, just like we did in Flight 4. And we'll have to wait and see. Keep your fingers crossed, but we may have some new views in store for you today as well.
Right, like all test flights, we want to learn as much as possible, and views of Starship during all phases of flight help us to keep improving the vehicle for recovery and reuse.
Now, thinking forward to when Starship which is why we're working so hard to scale operations at Starbase.
Yeah, the faster that we learn now, the faster we can improve and evolve Starship to achieve reliable flights and rapid reusability. We've been designing this vehicle from day one to realize a vision of having an entire city of people on Mars, something we know will take launching millions of pounds of cargo and equipment into space spread across thousands of flights. This future will require many Starships that can fly again and again, and today's flight is a critical step on that path.
So, buckle up your seatbelts because here we go. The Moon and Mars are not nearly as far in the future as you may think. In fact, we're planning to send Starships to Mars as soon as 2026.
You might be familiar with the Starlink logo, and there you can see it on your screen. It's an iconic representation of the Mars transfer orbit, also called the Home and Transfer Orbit. This is how fundamental Mars is to SpaceX. This transfer window, or time when the Earth and Mars are the closest to each other, opens every 26 months and is only open for about 2 to 3 months at a time for a vehicle with Starship's power. And it just so happens that the next Mars transfer window opens in 2 years towards the end of 2026.
Yeah, lining up a launch to Mars is similar to how we launched the International Space Station, where we time launches to match the station's orbit. If we didn't do this, we'd need more propellant and more time to get there.
Exactly. So the first opportunity that we have to fly Starships to Mars, we plan on doing it. These first flights to Mars will be uncrewed and will test the reliability of landing intact. If those landings go well, the first crewed flights will follow soon after.
So it's safe to say it's all happening, and flights like today's are what's going to get us there. Not only have we made several improvements to the Starship flying today based on what we've learned from our last flight, including extensive upgrades to Starship's hardware and software, we've also made improvements to the launch tower and catch mechanisms.
And if you've noticed in some of the live views this morning, our teams have completed stacking the second launch tower, which will be coming online next year. Having 2 operational launch towers paired with ships and boosters rolling off the line in our new Star Factory will allow us to increase our flight cadence and test even more rapidly. And just a few miles away from the 2 towers, things are moving really fast at the heart of Starbase. Star Factory is rapidly coming online, with production teams already using the space as construction continues. The 1 million square foot Star Factory brings many parts of the manufacturing process under one roof for the first time, enabling moving as much system integration work as possible earlier in the build process, with the goal of eventually producing hundreds of Starships a year.
That's crazy. It's such an impressive building. So, for example, teams can assemble an entire nose cone structure of a ship into a single piece and work on its internal systems all in one place. So if you're working on Starship and you have a question about the steps that you're working that happen before or after yours, instead of having to leave the building and go and find the person or the team with the answer, or waste time sending an email and waiting for the response, odds are you're right next to that person or team, and now you're working right alongside them, so you don't have to wait for a response.
Yeah, exactly. It makes it a lot more efficient and faster to communicate. So not only are we rapidly iterating on the spacecraft craft themselves, but we're also innovating the way that they're made.
It's almost too much to keep up with.
We're also posting updates on our account on X. If you can't keep up, that'll help you. So if you don't already, make sure that you follow us at SpaceX on X. And I have a feeling it's going to get pretty busy.
Oh, that is definitely an understatement.
And it's definitely going to be very exciting today. So with that, let's meet today's Starship on the pad. Starship features two major parts, the ship, which has 6 Raptor engines, and the Super Heavy booster, which has 33 Raptor engines. The current iteration of Starship is essentially an experimental vehicle flying for development. With a few planned upgrades, Starship will have 3 times the thrust of Saturn V, plus the added benefit of full reusability. Starship 2 will be capable of carrying more than 100 tons to orbit, and Starship 3 will be able to lift more than 200 tons to orbit. The amount of mass we're able to launch per rocket is crucial to creating a self-sustaining city on Mars.
Now, to get a sense of how big Starship is, let's start with the average size human, which is about 2 meters high. Towering over our average human is the length of the Millennium Falcon, which comes in at 35 meters. Our Falcon 9 rocket, with the payload fairing attached, is double the size of the Millennium Falcon, standing at 70 meters. And nearly twice the size of that is the fully integrated Starship at 121 meters tall. The ship itself is about 50 meters tall, and the Super Heavy booster alone stands about 71 meters. And even crazier, eventually the ship and booster will get even taller with future design iterations.
Can't imagine it being taller than that. Starship's first stage has a diameter of roughly 2.5 times that of Falcon 9, and with 33 much larger Raptor engines, which you can see there on your screen. Moving up the vehicle, the ship features 6 Raptors, 3 sea-level engines, and 3 vacuum engines, which are optimized to operate in the vacuum of space. The ship is designed for vertical takeoff and landing on any hard surface, like the surface of the moon. The ship is also outfitted with 4 flaps to help aerodynamically control the vehicle's attitude during atmospheric flight and enable a precision landing.
To reach full reusability, ship must survive entry not just once, but over and over again. It took the teams at SpaceX about 3 years to develop the heat shield on Starship, and development for improvements is still ongoing. The ship's heat shield is composed of 18,000 hexagonal ceramic tiles designed to insulate the vehicle during atmospheric entry, where temperatures can be as high as 2,600 degrees Fahrenheit. And naturally, the tiles are designed for rapid reuse with no refurbishment of flights. As we mentioned earlier, today's Starship features a completely reworked heat shield with stronger tiles and a secondary protective layer. This promises to increase our chances of Starship making it through a controlled re-entry and hopefully a little more intact this time around. And in between our first and second stages is our hot stage, which we last saw in action on flights 2, 3, and 4. Speaking of, let's take a trip back in time and talk about that last flight. On June 6th, Starship successfully lifted off at 7:50 a.m. Central Time from Starbase, Texas, cleared the launch tower, and went on to accomplish several major milestones and firsts. As you can see there, Super Heavy booster lifted off successfully and completed a full duration ascent burn. I love the view of the sound waves there. Following separation, Super Heavy booster successfully completed its flip maneuver, boost back burn as well to send it toward the splashdown zone, and it also jettisoned the hot stage adapter, as you can see there. We don't have to jettison that adapter in future iterations because it'll be a different design. Now, as you can see here, the booster is returning back to Earth using those hypersonic grid fins to steer it towards a precise landing in the Gulf of Mexico. The footage that we have coming up here, there it is from the buoy. I still remember seeing this on X for the first time, and it was so incredible to see that booster coming down, ending its flight with a soft splashdown 7 minutes and 24 seconds into the flight, and the crowd went wild.
And so did we. Starship's 6 second stage Raptor engine successfully powered the vehicle to space and placed it on a trajectory that would re-enter less than 1 orbit later over the Indian Ocean. And following a coast phase in space, Starship re-entered the Earth's atmosphere, successfully making it through the phases of peak heating and max aerodynamic pressure, and demonstrating the ability to control the vehicle using its flaps while descending through the atmosphere at hypersonic speeds. And of course, Starlink on Starship once again enabled real-time telemetry and live high-definition video throughout every phase of entry, with external cameras providing views all the way to the flight's conclusion.
Flight 4 ended with Starship. Again, the crowd going bonkers. With Starship igniting its three center Raptor engines and executing the first flip maneuver and landing burn that we had since our high altitude campaign. And that was followed by a soft splashdown of the ship in the Indian Ocean 1 hour and 6 minutes later.
And we were all glued to the monitors watching the little flap that could the whole way down. Seeing the landing burn and splashdown was an incredible moment for the entire SpaceX team, and we'll be looking out for many more of these incredible moments today.
All right, so while today's mission profile is similar to Flight 4, we got a couple new test objectives, including catching the booster back at the launch tower.
In about 18 minutes from now, Super Heavy will ignite its 33 Raptor engines and lift off from Starbase. A little more than 2.5 minutes into flight, the Super Heavy booster will separate from the ship in a hot stage separation. After that separation, the booster will perform a flip maneuver followed by a boost back burn. And about 2 seconds after that burn ends, we'll jettison the booster's hot stage. As it heads back towards the ground, the booster will either attempt a landing, will have a landing burn, but then will either return to the tower or splashing down in the Gulf of Mexico.
Meanwhile, the ship's engines will remain lit for just under 6 minutes during its ascent phase before shutting down for the coast. The ship will coast for about 40 minutes or so, reaching a peak altitude of about 213 kilometers. After that coast phase, the ship will be attempting a controlled re-entry, including a flip maneuver and landing burn, like we saw on Flight 4, just before splashing down in the Indian Ocean. Now, we say attempting because, again, this is just a test and nothing is guaranteed.
Except excitement.
Well, of course there is that. Now, both the booster and ship have to contend with some extreme conditions on re-entry, which is where those heat shield tiles
flying today that are expended, meaning that they fall into the ocean after completing their mission. Eventually, we will return and reuse Super Heavy boosters and Starship as we do today with Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy boosters. And in fact, we've landed Falcon boosters 352 times to date.
Oh, man, I hear you say that number, and that is just wild. I still remember the night, or at least most of the night, that Falcon landed for the first time, and it still feels like yesterday.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorite moments at SpaceX. And returning Super Heavy promises to be an even more impressive sight and a huge moment on the road to rapid reusability.
Yeah, speaking of rapid reusability, future Starship designs will give Super Heavy boosters a lighter weight and integrated hot stage intended for full reusability, which will mitigate the need to jettison the hot stage like we'll do today. Similarly, even though ship recovery is not expected, the telemetry and data we receive all the way to the end is what we're what we're looking for, and is what will get us to a rapidly reusable Starship of the future.
Yeah, exactly. In other words, just like previous Starship flights, the payload for this mission is the data. All right, now that we have a handle on today's flight test, let's check in with Dan, who is right in the middle of the action. He's just a few kilometers from Starship on the pad. How's it going, Dan?
It's going great. Counting down to our liftoff at 7:25 a.m. Central. We are a little bit later in our window. The main reason is we're working to clear out the range. Have not been tracking any technical issues so far to preclude that launch. So 7:25 a.m. Central, 12:25 UTC is where we're marching down to. As you can see, we're actively loading propellants onboard Super Heavy and Starship. Liquid methane for your fuel, liquid oxygen for the oxidizer. Prop load on the ship started at about T-minus 49 minutes, booster at T-minus 40 minutes. We're going to keep loading propellants on those vehicles right down to the wire. Ship will close out at about 3 minutes and 20 seconds before T0, and then booster just about 30 seconds later. Now, with our startup sequence, it's going to look very similar to what you saw on Flight 4. We already tested it with this booster and its static fire. We're going to see the Raptors start to make fire at about T-minus 3 seconds, and then we'll start them up in 3 different banks. The first inner 13 will fire, and then about a second later, 15 of the outer ring engines, and then about 0.8 of a second after that, those final 5. Another reminder, if we need to hold, we have a built-in spot at T-minus 40 seconds. We can hold for stuff like if we need to finish clearing the range or if any other technical issues pop up, just kind of in the last second. But if there's nothing holding us back, we're going to go right past that and go down to 0. So, I mean, as of right now, we're just under 14 minutes away from liftoff, not working any technical issues. Range is expected to clear. We're just clearing out a few more boats. And as you can see, the weather is perfect. We had 100% go for launch from the weather officer, so that was pretty unprecedented and something we really like to hear. If we're not able to go today, since we are loading prop, it would likely be about 48 hours before our next attempt. But good thing we're going to launch today. Really looking forward to being able to turn around and see it this time. Counting down to 7:25 a.m. Central, and I'll see you guys in a couple minutes. I'll send it back to you in Hawthorne.
Thanks, Dan. Now, one of the most exciting objectives for Flight 5 today is attempting to return the booster to the launch site that you see right there, and it will be caught by the tower. We refer to this simply as booster catch.
As you've heard us say, Starship and Super Heavy are designed to be rapidly reused, which is why we've developed a novel way of returning the vehicles that leverages the same hardware we use for stacking ahead of flight.
Right now, when we recover our Falcon boosters, they either return to a separate landing zone on land or to a drone ship in the ocean, both of which require time to transport the vehicle back to the launch site. In order for us to achieve truly rapid reusability, we need a quicker turnaround, and you can't get much faster than returning the launch vehicle right back to the launch site where it needs to be in order to launch again.
For today's booster catch attempt, while there are thousands of criteria that need to be met, there are 3 primary gates that will be in play. In order to proceed, automated checks have to indicate we have a healthy booster and a healthy tower, and the flight director must issue a manual command, which is informed by manual checks from the flight control team. If this command is not sent prior to the completion of the boost back burn, or if automated health checks show unacceptable conditions with Super Heavy or the tower, the booster will default to a trajectory that takes it to a landing burn and soft splashdown in the Gulf of Mexico.
Now, thinking to the future when we're operational, after a booster returns to the launch tower, it will be inspected and reloaded with propellants and then ready to launch another ship to orbit. For today's test, however, we're only going to attempt the catch, like Jesse said, if everything on the booster and tower checks out after launch. And of course, we will let you know as soon as we know if it's a go. We're going to be listening very keenly for that call out. Now, as always, we accept no compromises when it comes to the safety of the public and our team. So to that end, the area all around the pad and the flight path are cleared well in advance.
Exactly. A lot of things have to go right in order to line up the booster catch. So don't be surprised if we don't attempt the catch today. Either way, today's flight will generate data that will continue to inform our future flights and help us get to that operational cadence.
Yeah. Oh, you can't forget what else it will generate.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I mean, I was going to say a sonic boom.
Oh, I was going to say excitement, but that's a really good reminder.
Now, if we do make it to a catch attempt today, Super Heavy may generate a sonic boom upon its return. And that's basically a brief thunder-like noise that we hear when an aircraft or other object travels faster than the speed of sound. Anyone that has been in the area for a Falcon 9 land landing in Florida or California, or even some space shuttle landings, may have heard one of these.
Generally, the only impact in those surrounding areas of a sonic boom is the brief noise, with variables like weather and distance impacting if or how the sonic boom is heard. Here's a brief look at how these sonic booms look and sound on Falcon.
I know a lot of people will be excited when they hear the sonic boom. And these are going to provide quite a show because you're going to hear those sonic booms.
Sonic boom is great for us. Thunderclap. Broke the sound barrier.
Thank you for the reading confirmed.
Just heard the 2 sonic booms here in the room.
Booster landing confirmed.
As our test flights continue, we plan to demonstrate ship-to-ship propellant transfer, which will be important in preparation for Starship taking astronauts to the moon as part of NASA's Artemis program. SpaceX will perform one uncrewed demonstration flight before NASA's Artemis 3 mission, which will be the first human surface expedition since 1972. Also, in preparation for missions to the moon and Mars, we're gaining tons of knowledge from our human spaceflight missions.
Conducting extensive research and will culminate in a flight of Starship with humans on board.
After nearly 5 days in orbit, Dragon and the 4-person Polaris Dawn incredible first during their mission. Dragon and the crew reached 1,408.1 kilometers, the highest Earth orbit ever flown, and the farthest humans have been from our planet since the Apollo program.
The crew also performed the first ever commercial EVA, or extravehicular activity. And as you can see there, they were wearing the new EVA suits that we developed here in-house. 6 research studies and experiments from 31 partner institutions. Much like the data that we're going to see after today's flight test of Starship. So we're coming down to T-minus about 7 minutes. Let's check in with Dan.
Hey, thanks, Kate. So yeah, we're right at about 7 minutes away from launch. The main thing we are still working is that range clear. Again, we have to make sure boats, airspace, everything is cleared out of the way for our ascent corridor, basically the Gulf of Mexico, where we're launching through before we can actually launch. And so we're working on clearing out just a few more boats. We do have a window, remember. So if we end up holding at like a T-minus 40 seconds, we can hold for several minutes, allow those boats to get out of the way, and then we can launch. Our window is from 7 to 7:30 Central, so we don't have a huge amount of time today, but we do have some margin if we need to work with it to still get off the ground today. For now, though, we're coming up on finishing prop load on both vehicles. Header tanks are pretty much topped out on the ship. Those are going to be used for its landing burn. And again, we're going to be closing out all of the prop load at about T-minus 3 minutes, 20 seconds for the ship, and then just 30 seconds later for booster. One kind of cool thing to talk about, so the folks in launch control behind me, after liftoff, they're going to have some pretty special tasks today. If we're going to go through with the catch, they're going to be doing some really detailed inspections just visually of all of the different tower systems, a lot of those things that we upgraded, just to make sure that we are in the right posture to actually proceed with the catch. So they'll be working kind of fast and furious behind the scenes to inform the flight director's manual command to send the booster back. So if we hear that command being sent, that's going to be just the roof's going to come off. That's going to be a really exciting moment. So otherwise, if we don't go today, as you guys talked about, there is a chance, and if we don't send the booster back, we'll do a landing burn and a splashdown in the Gulf, and then that's just another landing burn to gather more data, learn more lessons from, and then we'll come back and try the catch again on the next one. as of right now, we're coming up on 5 minutes. There is a chance that we'll hold or extend into the end of our window, so don't be surprised if that ends up happening. But if those boats do get out of the way, we are just about 5 minutes away from launch. So I'll check back in just a moment, but back over to you, Kate and Jesse.
Thanks, Dan. Our rapid, iterative find the bugs now during testing and later on when there's more on the line. And to reiterate, while we do determine an acceptable level of technical risk on our vehicle and pad in order to learn as fast as possible, we accept no compromises when it comes to the safety of the public or our team. So that is to say, this is only the 5th of many future flight tests of Starship before it becomes fully operational.
You might remember these Starlink panels that are incorporated into Starship, and you can see them there on your screen, those rectangular panels on Starship's nose cone. Starlink brings us the epic views in space and on re-entry, and also helps deliver us the critical flight data engineers need to continue development. In addition to enabling our rapid iteration on Starship, Starlink is also enabling life-saving communication here on Earth. SpaceX is sending tens of thousands of Starlink kits in response to Hurricanes Helene and Milton and providing free service through the end of the year to support recovery efforts. The Starlink team also worked with T-Mobile to activate our direct-to-cell satellites to provide basic texting on T-Mobile and emergency alerts for all phones and carriers of those in affected areas. If a phone connects to a Starlink satellite, it will have 1 to 2 bars of signal and show T-Mobile SpaceX in the network name. SpaceX's direct-to-cell constellation has not been fully deployed, so these services
in the short term by providing great views and real-time data on our next few flights, particularly through re-entry, which historically is a blackout period for all communications.
All right, so we're coming up on 2 minutes. So we are just a little over 2 minutes away. So a couple more things going to be happening. We did just close out our propellant load on the ship and the booster. So 10 million pounds of propellant on that vehicle on the pad here at Star. Checks on the vehicle, the thrust vector control that we're going to use to steer it, as well as the guidance system doing its final alignment, just a lot of our final checkouts. But we are starting to hear that it looks like the range is going to be clear at our liftoff time of 7:25 a.m. Central, 12:25 UTC. So that puts us 1 minute, 20 seconds away from launch. Still not tracking any technical issues. That range clears. The only thing that's been potentially poking at our launch. So I'm going to start to quiet down. We'll hear our flight director for today, Tristan Pierce, give some of the final call-outs. As of right now, we are 1 minute away from liftoff.
Flight directors go for launch.
Best words you could possibly hear.
3, 2, 1. We have liftoff. Max Q.
Now pass through the maximum aerodynamic pressure, the most stress the vehicle's going to see in the
Look at Ryan's shot here, guys. That's unbelievable.
All right, our next major milestone coming up, it's going to be hot staging. We're going to see the engines ignite on ship to push it away from the booster.
Look at that shot. There's a little delay between the two, but we'll keep them both up on screen here for you, just so you can have full coverage here. Wow.
All right, so hot staging is going to be the next thing coming up. First, we're going to see the booster's engines start to shut down, all but 3. We're going to do what's called most engines cut off instead of main engine cut off, because 3 are going to keep going, and then we're going to see the engines on ship ignite.
So hopefully we hear a call out here that it's safe to do the landing.
Right now, the tower team is doing their go, no go. And we might hear some really good words soon, too. All right.
Come on. Oh, I want to see the
Still see it up behind me. That is one of the most gorgeous things I've ever seen in my entire life. Coming up on hot staging next.
Ship engine
There's
start up.
most engines cut off.
Stage separation. Booster
Stage separation. Hot stage separation confirmed.
Oh my God. Ryan has had
Ship under its own power. I'm seeing 6 out of 6 Raptors lit. Hopefully I got a booster on the way back to me. I'm going to send it to you guys in Hawthorne.
Oh man, that was absolutely incredible. I loved how the
Chamber pressure is nominal.
crowd here in Hawthorne all went ooh at that first view of the blue flames from the booster. As you can see there, first stage currently performing, or excuse me, is now making its way back to the launch site, and we are
Ship avionics power telemetry nominal.
the booster and the tower are both performing automated checks to make sure we are go for the booster to return to the launch pad for that catch. And once those are complete, the flight director.
What was that?
We did hear that the tower is go for catch, so that was one of the big criteria we were looking for.
No.
We'll wait to hear that the go for catch has been set.
Beautiful view here from the ship.
And so exciting to hear that we got a go for booster catch. That means it's going to be a really exciting morning. Again, the booster is making its way back towards now land in order to make that catch attempt in the tower.
No way. They're going for it.
So incredible to see these views. You can see the ship on the right-hand side of your screen. All 6 Raptor engines are under full power. Once again, the booster is making its way back to the launch site. We are going to try and catch it using the chopsticks on the launch tower, the exact same tower that it just launched from just, 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, the booster.
Oh my gosh.
Guys, I can confirm when command was sent for the booster to come back.
I'm
That is
shaking.
incredible.
Looking up right now. It's pretty much right overhead of us, and we can see it starting to come down.
This on the left, that is
I
our
can't
tracking
wait for us to
footage.
hear
We've
the
had
sonic
continual
boom
tracking.
through Dan's mic.
Look at that.
That is going to be incredible. It was so cool to hear the liftoff. And so once again, it's successful on-time liftoff of Starship Flight 5. The ship has separated from the booster. The booster is there on your screen. It is making its way back to the launch site. We are going to attempt the catch using the chopsticks. We did hear the confirmation that the command was sent to the tower. We are go for catch.
And in order to.
Guys, we should just be at about 30 seconds away.
Bao nhiêu thao rồi? Rồi 20 thao. Bởi vì 3 đứa đấy rồi lại. Đẹp quá. Đấy thấy không? Mà tôi tưởng cho một số như vậy thì 45 mới đúng theo giờ của ông. Nào, không? Thì 45 nhưng tôi gọi ba cháu xuống mấy ông lại về 10 phút sau mới xuống nữa mà. Đấy làm ý chuyện đi luôn rồi. Không tí nữa. Rồi đây còn 2 tờ nữa. 2 tờ nữa là phát này. Đâu thì quên. Từ từ đi mua mạch. Cường ơi, tôi chạy 25 nha. Đúng rồi. Đúng rồi, ông tay phải. Rồi. Đó, hôm nay của anh thì về thằng cái tóc sơn mà nó lào đấy. Đây thì về thằng cái tóc sơn là ở nhà anh. Gì đấy? Cả nhà.
The vehicle used. Do it again.
Pack it. That's awesome.
That is one of the things that I was actually going to bring up here, right? We've seen this. This is the first time they actually catch the booster. For Falcon 9, if you go back, the first Falcon 9 landing on the barge, on the landing zones, they were all fiery, like the bottom of the booster gets fiery.
Xuống sân khấu ông này chửi ông kia, ông chửi
Phép chửi nguyên một nhà.
má ông chạy đạo chắc ba mấy phút rồi. Tôi khám như mấy nghìn người.
It's igniting engines, it's going through the atmosphere at incredible speeds, right? Of course you're gonna expect some fire. Look at that!
Look, it's on the pins! The pins are on
It's
the
on the
rails!
pins!
Absolutely.
Any more confirmation that it's on the pins? There you have it.
It's like the close-up tower view showing it caught by the pins.
So, how calm is the reaction on social media?
Oh, look, here's the ship.
I'm very...
We still. Like, I know you're all already on a roller coaster of emotions right now. I'm just saying we still have the re-entry of a new TPS for us.
Look at this.
I mean,
Little piece of ice. Little piece of ice.
goodbye, good flight to you.
See you later.
Still 1 hour, or rather 50 minutes until that ship is on the ocean, on the Indian Ocean.
50 correct?
Yeah, 50. Exactly, 50. One thing, once we go back to replays and whatnot, because I'm mostly sure that everybody in the back channels are preparing those replays. Did it seem to you like that landing seemed easy?
Yeah, like I'm just sitting here like, that wasn't that hard, right, SpaceX?
Yeah, it was like, what was sketchy? Like, what the heck?
Yeah, it just worked. Like, the renders were right. Like, you look at the renders, you now look at this and you're like, Yeah, they said how it works.
And also no hover.
There was no hover.
Unvalidated.
Everybody
I
was
said no hover.
It'll be easy. You can hover. Oh, the hover in.
No hover.
There was no hover. Right.
I will post the Alex and Das apology chart for everybody to fill out on Twitter.
We did a video like our SpaceX landing's accurate enough to catch the booster, and we did a bunch of analysis, looked at Falcon 9, and we said it was like what was it? It was a 95% chance based on the Falcon 9 accuracy that they could get the booster in between the chopsticks. Clearly, that was correct. They made it look easy.
Yeah, made it pretty. And the implications for the program as a whole and Artemis are ginormous of this, because already reaching the step of first stage reusability.
Yep. How many patches do we have? We're going to shell out of patches because they actually caught this thing.
Yeah, I have to look at actually
checking to see what percentage we have left on patches, because the patches are crazy. Jack is here.
God. Yeah, 50%.
The sonic booms, you guys. We've been saying this forever now, that the sonic booms were going to be amazing for this one, and they were amazing for this one. Oh my God, I knew they were coming, and still they shook my entire. They shook the earth. And
did they move your brand?
I don't know what. Yes, everything moved, guys. Everything. 100%. Everything moved. I had the booster nearly the entire way down. Only when it was obscured by its own exhaust cloud, I lost it. So, hooray, high-speed video of that. How beautiful was that? I don't know if we're going to get more beautiful launch conditions than that. What more can you ask for? And they just buttered that thing in there. It just slipped right in there like a glove. Like a glove.
We need to get all of these shots pulled, because we saw some things at Ascent, like how they looked, and I'm curious how that looked for the landing.
Yep.
I have some angles where I'm like, I'm curious how that turned out.
Let us know if there's any metal print candidates.
We are working on it. We are working on it.
Yeah, that's another thing we do to commemorate these. We sell the patches, the commemorative sort of patch things. We do metal prints. We'll have all sorts of shots that you can put on your wall, quality prints and stuff.
I'm working on one right now. I rented a 5D, an R5 Mark II for the launch, and I got some cool photos off of it. For some reason, they're showing that the Lightroom is corrupted. This is what I get for not using the R5 Mark II until just now. But I'm working on some shots from launch. Just stand by. I know Max is as well. I'm powering up some of the field infrastructure. When I say I am, Dan is. Thank you, Dan. So that we can pull some rapid turn prints as well. So we're working on the imagery. We're getting it to you as fast as we possibly can. I'm shaking. I'm literally shaking.
You should be.
I mean, we were shaking. Yeah. That was I not in my wildest dreams would I mean, this is basically, besides that one shot, a perfect landing.
We're in a hotel room halfway across the world and we're shaking over here.
Yeah, probably some people in this hotel were like, what is going on?
I thought when they were knocking on the door, it was quiet. Like, sir? Sir? We're like, no, there's a Starship launch. Look at this! Look, they caught it! Drag them in here and put toothpicks in their eyes and sit them in front of the stream so they can witness history happening.
Normally when you're in a hotel room, it's like noisy neighbors. There's like a kid running up and down the hallway. It's like, I don't care about any of that.
They're used to that.
We're the noisy neighbors today. We're the kids running up and down the hallway.
So for everybody at NSF, we now have a license Flight 6 and a most likely no mishap investigation. So I propose Monday or Tuesday.
Don't jinx it. There's still a ship coming back down.
Ship doesn't come back down. Yeah.
So far, I have to say, I will continue to jinx it because I have been saying weird jinx stuff all stream, and so far, honestly, it's going well.
We have not going well. It's going so. Hey, is there any Jack, go.
No, I don't want to talk over anybody. Let's get some more excitement in here. I just want to take a moment. Oh my God, they did it! They did it! Oh my God! All right, somebody else talk. I'm gonna scream for a while. Enjoy.
Scream. If you hear Jack going "Rah!" in a microphone out at the river spot, that's what's going on.
I now imagine him just like standing there, like not even moving. It's just like arms down, like
staring at the sky.
Yep. And they're staring at the booster that is hanging there.
I know Max and D over there on the roof of the Margaritaville Hotel. They're probably processing images, downloading stuff from cards. If they check it as well, they will hopefully speak to us too. I don't know who else we might have here, but good grief! Everybody in chat saying they did it.
I mean, that's a very accurate description of what just happened.
Yep, they did it.
There were a lot of people down to it, and I will gladly accept and admit that I was not expecting a success.
That thing just sitting there smoking on the launch pad. On the catch tower, actually. It's the catch tower.
So remember 2 or 3 years ago when the first idea came up and we were all like, nah, they're not. Yeah. We were wrong. We were wrong.
Look at that.
Right now,
Chat,
super happy.
Admit it. Chat, for everybody here. When they first announced that they want to try to catch the booster, who of you thought that's never going to happen? Like, admit it.
I think things are possible. I don't know that they were going to do it the first time. I really didn't expect it to happen the first time. I thought it might be an abort or something like that. But they're dialing it in. This is why they fire up these things. That's why they don't sit there and do it on a computer 18 bazillion times without ever actually getting ground truth, space truth, rocket truth. They do the rapid iteration. They make guest test and revise, basically. And that is what you get from it. You get the booster there hanging on the chopsticks, lightly smoking from the bottom.
I mean, the worst thing that thing had is China did a bit of fire. That's just how it came back from space.
Can we reflect about that? Like, this is, we have had in the history of a spaceflight only 2 rockets being landed propulsively, Falcon 9 and now Starship Super Heavy. Like, how crazy is that? Who would have thought that SpaceX would produce the first and the second rocket to successfully land from space doing propulsive landing? It's, or at least an orbital class booster. I'm not going to be forgetting about your ship, which, by the way, is they're launching, I think, the 27th flight. But still, it's quite an amazing feat for a single company.
I want to point that out in terms of things that don't get attention. If you think the ship right now is not getting attention, congratulations, a new Shepard flying right now. Be like, hello.
This is gonna be, the meme where there's the kid in the pool and like one kid's being held up and then the other kid's like, and it's gonna be the ship over there getting no attention and it's gonna be the booster being held up by the chopsticks instead of the parent.
I think SpaceX Master Race will just steal that idea right now. On the front page.
Somebody make that and tweet it at us, please. We're on the stream. We can't make it right now. Tweet it at NASA Spaceflight.
We cannot open a meme maker right now.
So, I mean, the ship is continuing on. Look at the Earth in the background there. That is the flap.
Is that the legendary flap position?
Oh, right.
I think that's
there's a ship.
Flap, right?
Yeah, there's the
ship.
Yeah, friendly reminder, Jack. Remember the thing that we went crazy over the last flight? That's upcoming.
Yep. And y'all, I know the production team is doing 18 bazillion different things right now. They're going to be working on replays. Apparently, they're working on putting cameras in boxes so we can see all sorts of stuff at the same time. We're going to have some social media posts. We've already got stuff that Mary Boca Chica Gal caught out there. It's on X. We'll link that up. Hopefully, we'll show it here in a minute. An awful lot of things going on, but Chris is probably going to be linking some of those things into chat. So if you see a link come by, you want to click it. You may be able to see it there on X before we can show it to you.
không nãy mày vô mày nghe ông chửi đụng quá phải luôn.
You hear what in tarnation?
Xéo vô hút rồi, phải đi chẹn rồi bắt đầu bố. Bắt đầu nhắm lấy cây cái điều sự gì rồi.
Có 2 gia đình bị gay luôn trong cái MV.
Bị gay lại bảo.
MV là 2 gia đình bị gay nhưng mà bà lại hát hay.
We can see him in the back channel. Y'all need to catch him. Chris said he'll link him in chat when his hands stop shaking. Copy Chris. That's completely understandable.
I think that's very fair. I think that's very fair.
I think that's fair. Y'all hang out for.
Ai thấy mấy thằng gay chửi hay thì giơ tay.
Gia đình chết.
Phải làm lại nhau.
Mà tới giờ con người nó nói luôn, quy phòng nó quen hơn mình trả lời.
Em đi mơ
Ông lên ông nói tao nữa, tao nhìn.
Minute, the ship is still coming in. The show is not over. The booster on the chopsticks successfully caught, still smoking from the bottom as the ship continues its way around the planet. What are we, 40 minutes?
23 minutes for the start of the entry. That entry is a nerve-wracking 15-minute. It is a T plus 48 minutes. And so, you know, we do enough. 23 minutes from now, and then another 50.
There.
Yeah, that's beach 02.
Yeah, beach 2. Nice. Look at this, the pressure wave gets to us.
You saw the pressure waves during the liftoff so clearly.
I want to come back and see if you can see it coming across the grass.
So clear. All the sonic booms could also be visible on the grass.
Yep, that was CP11. This is D tracking, I think, for the hot stage there. Look, this is edited together, by the way.
How did you edit this?
It is together, the replay. There, the booster has separated from the ship. Look at that. There's the hot staging ring.
The hot stage ring. Yeah.
Could you see it, Jack?
The hot stage ring. Oh yeah. Clear as day. There was like the booster coming back down and the hot stage ring following. It was crazy.
You think the cross freaked out?
Ryan is saying now a gazillion landing replays.
A gazillion landing replays. Nice. It went into the cloud and then it came out of the clouds.
And look at the engines. How they were glowing.
Yep.
That re-entry was spicy.
I don't know if we saw them cooling down. See as they start to, like, the glow dims a little bit there?
Yeah.
See it in the footage that they're doing. And by the way, folks, these will get stabilized and stuff as well. This is just the raw footage right off the camera as fast as we can get it to you. There's still editing magic that can happen, but look at the blinding burn.
Mà chừng nào nó thay thôi mà. Đứa này cũng thử là MV đâu bị hay. Sắp rồi. Chết thật. Lâu lắm rồi. Gần 70 luôn. Bàn. Không được cái đó 44 chứ mà hai cái
He just there was a swoosh.
Oh,
okay. So the replay is in the box on the lower right, and then everything else is live views of current. Situation. Nice. Yeah, that's actually really cool.
I mean, that's all.
Đâu, anh hết mà.
I mean, that's already beautiful.
That's going to be from the North Beach site there.
Yeah, that's Beach 02.
Yeah, Beach 2. Nice. Look at this. The pressure wave gets to us.
You saw the pressure waves during the liftoff so clearly.
I want to come back and see if you can see it coming across the grass.
It was so clear. All the sonic booms could also be visible on the grass.
Yep, that was CP11. This is D tracking, I think, for the hot stage there. Look, this is edited together, by the way.
How did you edit this fast?
This together, the replay. There, the booster has separated from the ship. Look at that. There's the hot staging ring.
The hot stage ring. Yeah.
Could you see it, Jack?
The hot stage ring. Oh yeah. Clear as day. There was like the booster coming back down and the hot stage ring following it. It was crazy.
Look, and the cross screen out.
Ryan is saying, "Yo, Brazilian landing replays." You can do it.
Look at this.
Look at the re-entry.
That's 6.5 minutes. That is moving so fast. Look at how hard it is. Replays. Nice. Ignition louder than it came out of the clouds.
And look at the engines.
That's the
Glowing.
Yep.
That re-entry was spicy.
I don't know if we saw them cooling down. See as they start to like the glow dims a little bit there.
Yeah.
See it in the footage that they're doing. By the way, folks, these will get stabilized and stuff as well. This is just the raw footage right off the camera as fast as we can get it to you. There's still editing magic that can happen, but look at the blinding burn.
I believe you can even see the sonic boom clearing the clouds.
I bet you can.
Maybe we can.
And it was exactly what you said.
Look, it's going. It did. It entered in between the chopsticks. It didn't slide into the chopsticks. It entered into the chopsticks.
Yep. How did they do that?
It's so easy, right? It looks so easy.
And then you can see the engine shut down.
Look at that.
Yeah, but it's not everybody doing that.
And now a bunch of these, by the way.
I'm fine with that. I can. I have room for 1 or 2 more.
Oh, look at this. We caught this one. I don't know what the second replay
I think this is me.
This is you. Look at this, Jack.
Oh,
This is me.
See the engines cooling down, and then they light again.
It was hard to keep up with it. It was falling so fast.
Look at the outer ring of engines.
You can see him gimbal.
Yeah.
Look at him gimbal.
Là phim gì không? Là phim đi tao không muốn là phim. Netflix hả?
The birds are like, nope, I'm out.
Good job,
This is the one that
Gage.
tanks in. Yeah, look, this is Gage, I think.